What the hell just happened? Well, we're back to me now. Why do I have the feeling we just died? Or something? Because my guess is, what's her name? Hodaki, or whatever her name is. The Suzukage girl. Hidoshi? Or something? She was turning back into Kaido. Kaido. And I feel like it was either her as Kaido coming to kill me because she's crazy, or Yuri trying to kill Satoru, which is my original theory. Was it steam covering my field of vision? No, it was snow. The entire surface of the world in front of me was concealed in a layer of snow. What? I could feel someone's hands under my armpits. Facing up towards the sky, I could see that my body was being dragged through the snow. Up until just a few moments ago, I'd been covered by the warm steam of the hot bath in the bathroom. But now, all of a sudden, I was hit with a gust of chilly air. Cold. The cold pierced right through me. My entire body shook through with chill. I couldn't seem to gather up any of my strength. Who's dragging me across the snow? Dragging me onto a place this cold? The person's trying to kill me. No! I shook myself free from the hands underneath my arms. And just like that, I lost my support and collapsed with my body sprawled across the snow. Please, help me! My lips were shaking and I couldn't even speak properly, they had frozen. That was when Yomogi stood over me and looked down towards me. He had a blank look on his face. Yomogi-san? Why is Yomogi here? But he didn't pay any attention to my look of confusion, and once again stretched his arms towards me. Scrambling to get away from him, I pushed myself up. My foot couldn't get a proper grip because of the snow. With every step, my feet sunk deeper and deeper into it. Hey. What are you doing? I yelled out loud as I glared back at Yomogi. His hands reached out towards me. I slapped those hands away immediately. That's when I noticed a strange, uncomfortable feeling. For some reason, something didn't feel right around my chest. This unusual feeling of support wasn't there. I touched my chest lightly. My bra, it's not on properly. It's unhooked. A pervert molester, you filthy old man! I covered my chest with my hands in panic. You were gonna molest me! What were you gonna take me? An annoyed look appeared on Yomogi's face. He was acting kind of weird. He pointed his chin. I don't think Yomogi did that. I think Satoru must have done that when he switched bodies. He pointed on his chin in the direction behind me. To the cabin. You don't want to die yet, right? Through the blowing snow, I recognized this faint image of the cabin. It's the shelter cabin. I'm no more than 10 meters away from it. But I should be at Sphere. Huh? Could it be that I woke up from my dream? My quiet mutter disappeared in the sound of the fierce wind. Pushing my way past Yomogi, I quickly made my way towards the cabin. What? When I ran inside the cabin, Uni and Mizumi were both there. So I really was back. No, instead of saying that I was back, I should say that I'd woken up from my dream. Mizumi was, as always, wrapped up in a blanket in front of the stove. She clicked her tongue lightly in disdain as she looked at me with suspicion. Uni, too, only looked at me from afar. Are you okay? Are you okay? I shook my head in silence, trying hard to catch my breath once again. The warm air inside the cabin soothed me just a tiny bit. But there was no way I would forget the one thing I needed to do. I pulled my hands from my skirt and reached into my shirt to fix my bra in a hurry. I made my way to the stove and held my hands up near it. My hands had turned bright red. There was no feeling in my fingertips. I was covered in snow from head to toe. Even my hair was dripping wet. I brushed the snow off me as I struggled hard to endure this torment. Hey, go over there, will you? This isn't the time to worry about what she just said, since my body felt like it was completely frozen. When she realized I was ignoring her, she got up and moved to another spot. Uni handed me a small towel. I accepted it without a word and dried my wet hair. Yomogi had also made it back to the cabin, closing the door behind him. He looked straight at me, his face telling me that he wanted to hear an explanation. But in the end, he didn't say anything, he just stood quietly near the door and brushed the snow off him. If I could explain what had just happened, I would. But because I had absolutely no idea, there wasn't much I could do. Anyway, my body was now returning to normal. My heart and my body had also both returned to being those of Fuyukawa and Cocoro. Well, that's all I can be certain of for now. Sorry, I'm very curious about this, because in this menu, and I know you guys may be a little annoyed that I just did it 5 times in a row, but it says how much is done and how much of the scene is done. But I'm curious, with each scene, how much messages is a percentage. Because so far we've been through like 5 text messages and it hasn't even been 1 percentage. And so I'm using that to figure out how big a scene is, so I know if something big's gonna happen in it. I know it's not really important, just go with the scene and you'll find out, but I'm the type of person that likes knowing these things, so I'll try doing it outside of recording, like I'll just pause the recording and then do it so you guys don't have to face with it. But yeah, I like being able to do that stuff because it's rare that games tell you how long a scene's gonna go for. And it just interests me that they actually do it because it's most likely for a reason. But that's all I can be certain of for now. Okay, so it just changed to 14%, so I'm guessing it's like 5 to 6 messages as a percentage. No one said a single word. It seems like something really strange had happened. There's no mistake about that, but I don't know why everyone was so quiet. I stood beside the stove, puzzled. An uncomfortable silence filled the cabin. Nobody said a thing. Normally, Uni would be joking around energetically, but he just glanced at me with a sad look on his face. What was I doing outside? I didn't direct the question at anyone in particular. Izumi didn't respond. Uni looked down at the floor. Yamagi turned towards me and looked at me as if he was looking at a ghost. But soon he groaned in a serious manner. I see. He stood there nodding alone by himself as if he had just figured out something. Yamagi-san, what is it? Wait a second. Yamagi scratched his head as he thought things over. I wonder if after we beat Kokoro's bit, or something, we'll finally get to see what Satoru is up to and what he did in his time. That would be cool. Soon he sat down on the wooden stool and pulled it towards me. Or can I actually go to his? Tips, what's tips? Evening? Even though the term is now used to mean night in general, originally was used to describe the period of time between twilight and sunset, in other words, the time when night begins. R? The symbol for radius and ratio represents an arc extension, the 18th letter of the alphabet, the symbol for right, and also the R from the title of this game, Remember11. Okay. The letter R is full of significant meanings. I feel like that's going to be important. The fact that it's called R11 or Remember11. I feel like it's meant to mean something else. GPS. Global positioning system. Rustle. To push through deep layers of snow, creating a path while moving forward. A mountain climbing term. Fuyukawa. Mountain climbing term. Needing to sleep outdoors to pass through the night, a location where there are no cabins. Personal space. The region surrounding each person. Yeah, I already know what that is. Sphere. Specified psychiatric hospital for isolation in Aegis. This is revision for the penal code in 2007. Stuff like that. Okay. That's interesting. Are these all the blue words that appeared? I feel like that's what they are. Wow, there's a lot. Wow, there's gonna be 110 of them that they need to explain. That's impressive. Let's see, you're Fuyukawa-san right now, right? Huh? Isn't it obvious? With hesitation in his voice, Yamagi continued. No, Yukidoh-kun did explain it to me, but can you go through it one more time? Yukidoh? I've heard that name before. A name that appeared in my dream. You're talking about Yukidoh Satori? Yeah, that's right. It's about him, the other personality inside of you. My head felt dizzy. Unable to stand up any longer, I sat down across from Yamagi. Could he be talking about me suffering from DID again? But you don't know about Yukidoh, Kun, do you? Yeah, I don't know him. I don't know him, but at the same time I do. A really strange thing to say, and yet that was really the only way I could describe it. Alright, that's fine. Anyhow, I think you should have realized it by now, but you were him until just a few moments ago. Do you know what DID is? I knew it. Couldn't help but let out a sigh. Dissociative identity disorder. That's right. You seem to have developed multiple personalities due to the shock from the crash. Was I dreaming again? Was this shelter cabin a dream? If that was the case, was the time I spent as Sphere the reality? But I'm a woman. I'm absolutely 100% a woman. I'm absolutely 100% a woman. Perhaps realizing from the look on my face that I was getting angrier and angrier, Yomogi quickly explained. Well, I don't really believe it either, but that's what he said. The person Yomogi was looking at was Uni. Uni, dear? Why would a young boy like him have such expert knowledge about DID? Does he know something? I looked at him questioning with my eyes, but he didn't give an expression. There was nothing I could do, so I left him alone. I got the gist of what had happened. I'll worry later about whether I'm really suffering from DID or not. But why was Yukidoh Satoru out there? Most likely trying to escape. I wonder if it's because he didn't believe what I had said. I think he didn't want to admit he was in reality nothing more than an alternate personality born inside Cocoro. My heart skipped a beat. The way Uni spoke, it was as if he knew everything. Just as I thought, he... Enough of this! Suddenly Meizumi yelled out of frustration. Was what? Flinging off her blanket, she jumped off her feet. She glared at me with her eyes wide open. How long are you planning on being led around by this girl's lies? Looks like she's trying to say I'm making this all up. I'm not lying or anything. Shut up. I'm not going to be played by you like this. She looked as if she was going to hit me at any moment. Her eyes looked so angry they made me take a couple of steps back from her. Why don't you tell me? Yomogi lit his cigarette. Taking a puff, he points it towards Meizumi with the hand holding his cigarette. Tell me, why do you think she's lying? That caught Meizumi off guard. Because? Because? Biting her lips, she fell silent. You have your own reasons to suspect she's lying. Why the hell should I tell you? If you know something and I don't convince you to share it with me, it'll bother me so much that I won't be able to sleep. I'm not here to help you sleep. Yomogi chuckled as he took another puff. I don't understand you two at all. Looks like there's a lot going on that I don't know, but... I felt the same way too. I needed someone to explain what was going on. Meizumi, just now, she spoke almost as if she knew who Yukidoh Satoru was. Fuyukawa-san, no, I mean Yukidoh-san, it seems to know about Meizumi too. Meizumi, just now you spoke almost as if you knew who Yukidoh Satoru was. You denied it just now, but you two really know each other. He can't be just now. What exactly did he mean when he said just now? Yomogi looked straight at me, who was getting even more confused. I quietly shook my head. First time I'd ever met Meizumi was in the cabin. How about you, Meizumi? No, at least definitely not this girl. At least? So does that mean you do know Yukidoh-kun? I didn't see what business that is of yours. This is so stupid, I'm not talking to you guys anymore. Meizumi did know the person named Yukidoh Satoru. Her actions said it loud and clear. I didn't know what kind of relationship the two of them had, but one thing was certain. It was something Meizumi was angry about. As things stand now, it had already gotten quite awkward between us. We were supposed to be coming together and doing our best to make it through this, but now the atmosphere in the cabin had gotten worse. So I'll... press her harder. She probably won't care if I apologize. Meizumi? What? What? I followed behind her. You know, don't you? Know what? You know about this person named Yukidoh Satoru. Please tell me. Just who is he, and where is he? He's real, isn't he? The look in her face grew darker and darker. But in spite of that, I had to get it out of her. Why do I know him? Why? Suddenly a slap flew across my face. I swear these choices are getting me nowhere. I choose... do this! and I don't get what I want. A hot burning sensation floated from my cheeks, something. Article 38, Paragraph 1 of the Constitution. No person shall be compelled to testify against himself. You do know about that right to remain silent, don't you? I have no need to tell you anything. Hey, Maizumi. Shut up. Instead of bothering me, you should be making dinner. Hopper, jeez, what a moron. She pointed to Yomogi as she vented her anger at him with those words. I'm starving over here. Oh, right, we haven't had anything to eat yet. But that's the reason Mizumi's so irritated. Alright, let's make something to eat already. This guy's so calm, it's awesome. Okay, the water looks like it's already boiling. He said as he glanced at the aluminum pot sitting on top of the stove. White steam rose up from the aluminum pot. So what are we having today? Alright, I forgot my deep voice. I keep on giving him like a calm voice because he's a kid, but I originally assumed he was some grown male, so... yeah, the deep voice I'm keeping. Uni asked as he peeked into the cardboard box where all the emergency rations were kept. Yeah, I wonder. Yomogi thought about it for a while and then... What does everyone else want to eat? He inquired of us. Rice porridge. Rice porridge is good. Rice porridge! Wow! All three of us said in perfect unison. Was that always going to happen, or...? Unanimous decision, huh? Actually, I was just thinking how much I wanted to have some rice porridge as well. I'm so tired from all that's happened. I really want to eat something that's easy to make. As he nodded his head and muttered, Yomogi took out 4 servings of rice porridge from the cardboard boxes. Okay then, everyone get their bowls ready. We quickly took the bowls and spoons out of the cardboard boxes. But this, it really was kind of incredible. The fact that the 4 of us all agreed on what to eat. It's as if the moment I had decided I want to eat some rice porridge, the thought was broadcast to everyone. Is that meant to imply something? No, maybe we can think of it another way. At the very beginning, everyone's decisions have already been determined. No, that's not exactly it either. I'm not the type to believe in fate. I don't believe in that kind of dream, not just that kind of romantic. Maybe you can try thinking of it like this. Everyone's decisions were all made by some kind of unseen existence. Yeah, right, I'm such an idiot. There's no way something like that would happen. But that does sound just a bit romantic, doesn't it? As I tried to shake off these strange ideas, I put the ingredients for the rice porridge Yomogi had handed me into my bowl. Now the loading screen. That's what I feel like these screens are, because it's happened 3 times now, and it doesn't seem to prove any difference. Though I do think it looks like a flaming man dancing. Oh, by the way, I asked suddenly as I brought the warm rice porridge to my lips. What have happened to that newspaper article? Oh, Uni was the only one that wasn't questioning. I'm just assuming Uni has something to do with this. And with that the single question, the atmosphere that had thawed froze once again. I may have said something I shouldn't have. But I didn't even want to think about the newspaper article in the first place, so why did I ask a question like that? It feels so strange, so unbelievable. Once again, I'd become conscious of the existence I couldn't see. When I looked up at Maizumi, the hand she was eating with had stopped cold, and the spoon she was holding clattered against her bowl. She was shaking. If you want the newspaper article, we put it on that shelf. I looked over and sure enough, there it was, but it seemed really different from the first time I'd seen it. It seemed like it was patched up messily, in other words, been taped together after having been ripped to pieces before. Oh, you don't remember? You don't remember? A newspaper article, you tore it up when you became Yukidoh-kun. We all fixed it up to how it was before. Tore it up? I did? You don't remember that either? Yes. It's true that the moment I read the newspaper article, I really was destroyed by the shock. Do you remember using my strength to do something? But did I really rip it? Maybe I did after all. I wasn't too sure whether I'd ripped it or not. The part of my memory seemed so vague. Especially because at that exact moment my head had gone completely blank. Well, it's fine. I'm already used to you being like that. I think it would be best not to pay any attention to that newspaper article. The thing is probably just somebody's idea of a prank. Yamagi said his voice almost a groan. That's the only thing I can think of to explain it. What the hell? How can you be so easily certain about that? Mayuzumi slammed her bowl on the table, as if something she had been holding in until now suddenly. How can it possibly be a prank? If it was a prank, then the guy who made this newspaper article would have had to predict the crash of HAL 18. The four of us surviving, us making it to the shelter cabin, the guy would have to know all of this. A prophet, or perhaps someone who can predict the future, or maybe even Laplace's demon. I guess I'll look up Laplace's demon in the tips. Laplace's demon? Oh, okay. So these two will probably, like, they'll be in the first scene, maybe, like, if we chose different options. So, Laplace's demon. No, wrong one. Laplace's demon. Concept proposed by Pierre-Simon Laplace, a French mathematician and philosopher. Suppose there exists a demon. That is, an entity that possesses the ability to know at a certain moment the state of all things in the universe. Then no matter how brief that moment is, it would always be enough for the demon to unravel everything that happened in the past and will happen in the future. Oh, that's interesting. What Laplace was trying to say with this is that basically everything which occurs in the world has been predetermined from the beginning. That no matter how big or small an event is, its occurrence is by no means an accidental, but in fact inevitable. In philosophy, this is called casual determinism. Interesting. That's actually a pretty nice idea. So it's just a fixed thing. Whatever happens is happening for a reason. It's like basically any story. There's always things that happen, and that's because they happen for a reason. Mayuzumi. And what reason would anyone have for playing such a prank in the first place? Why threaten us? Mayuzumi, calm down. Is he following us around with his camera right now? Then, some guy going to pop out suddenly and say, "You're on candid camera!" This is all just idiotic. Mayuzumi snapped as she stared at the Yamagi. Calm down, Mayuzumi. You're not making sense. Do you think this newspaper is real, or do you think it's fake? Well... Mayuzumi went quiet all of a sudden. Guess it's a natural reaction. The newspaper article's real, that means the three of us have already died. 6 days later, on January 17th. I believe the newspaper article is real is the same as accepting our deaths. It's not that she believes it's fake. It's just that she doesn't want to believe it's real either. I can understand the conflict within Mayuzumi very clearly. Well then, Mayuzumi. Suppose we say the newspaper article isn't a prank. If it isn't a prank, then can you explain it? It still can't be explained, right? Why is a newspaper article from the future in a place like this? We're just going around in circles. Even if we think about it, we won't get anywhere. There's no way to come to a conclusion about it. And if that's the case, we might as well forget about it, right? Doesn't that sound good? Just think of it like this. No matter how we can explain this, the result is the same. Because it's not something that can be explained no matter what we do. If so, then let's just think positively. That the newspaper article is just a prank. And all of us will make it back alive for sure. Isn't that better than worrying about it? Right? Got it. I'll forget about it. Good. Oh no, is she gonna rip it up or something? Everyone else too, is that okay with you? Okay. Yep. Yep. Yeah, there goes my good voice. Yeah! Both of us nodded. I too felt the same as Yamagi. If it's something bad, then we might as well forget about it. In some ways, that's one of the strongest defense mechanisms that I've learnt in life so far. Uni probably thinks so too. Anyway, I'm glad. I was worried about how bad the situation was going to get, but for now at least everyone's panic has subsided. The panic that had been stirred up by that creepy piece of newspaper had now disappeared, as if forgotten, and that's good enough. I finished eating dinner, so I'm going to go to bed. Mayuzumi muttered as she picked up a blanket and made her way to the top bunk. The bowl she had slammed on the table just a while ago was completely empty. After a while, the rest of us finished our humble meals as well. Well then, after taking out his portable ashtray and putting out his cigarette, Yamagi stood up. It's getting much late already. To make sure the fire doesn't go out, we should take turns sleeping. I'll take the first shift. But... It's okay. You should get some rest as well. Slowly I stood up. I caught a glimpse of the watch on my right wrist. It was already approaching midnight. Hey! Uni tugged on my hand. He looked at me with eyes like an abandoned kitten. Cocoro, can we sleep together? Ugh. I couldn't help but smile gently at him. Great idea. His face lit up immediately. The two of us both squeezed into the bottom bunk. Covering ourselves with blankets, we curled up into the bowl. Soon I could hear Uni's quiet, peaceful breathing as he fell asleep. His sleeping face was so peaceful and adorable as an angel's. His body was warm. I really wanted to believe his warmth was not just a dream. Hey Yomogi-san. I called out to him as he sat with his back to me. What's wrong? I wanted to make sure just one more time. Did I really call myself Yukidoh Satoru? After a short pause, yeah. I see. Good night. Good night. I closed my eyes. But with that said, I couldn't fall asleep at all. Whenever I tried to be still, endless thoughts ran through my mind, going deeper and deeper, like an endless bog. Even if I kept thinking about it over and over again, I was still so far from coming up with an answer. What had happened to me? Yomogi said that I had multiple personalities. The same thing Utsumi had told me in the dream when I was in Sphere. Was that really the truth? Was the time I spent in Sphere even a dream? Is the Cocoro lying here in bed in the shelter cabin even real? Which one is the dream and which one is reality? Or perhaps both of them were a dream? Or perhaps both are reality? When I lost consciousness in the shelter cabin, who was it that was controlling my body? Yomogi, Maizumi, and even Uni confirmed it, so it's probably not just a mistake. It appears that the person that was controlling my body introduced himself as Yukidoh Satoru. Meanwhile, while I was in Sphere, my body also belonged to a Yukidoh Satoru as well. Multiple personality disorder can't possibly explain that, and both felt much too real to be explained as dreams. So then what are they? I can only think of one answer to that. Both are reality. Multiple personality disorder alone cannot explain what was happening to me right now. Because... that is two errors in it. One, I think that should be a full stop and thus the B should be capital. Or... that shouldn't be a next line kind of thing. I don't really know. Because I was still me while I was inside Satoru's body, as there was still a connection to my own memories while I was there. So it was probably natural to suddenly come up with the explanation my consciousness had been mutually switching between the world here and the world there. Regardless of whether that sounds logical, I couldn't think of any other explanation. A bitter laugh echoed inside my heart. It's just like a science fiction novel, but this is reality. Perhaps I and this person named Satoru are exchanging consciousness with each other for some reason. When I'm in my body, he's in his body. When I'm in his body, he's in mine. That must be it. And now that I think about it, the last thing I remember about Sphere was being in the bathroom. At that time, the bathroom lights had suddenly gone out. I distinctly remember feeling a sense of danger. What exactly happened after that? If we are indeed exchanging consciousnesses with each other, I wonder if that Satoru person is alright after that. I want to believe that he's okay. It would seem that I've already accepted that our consciousness is switching. No, perhaps I could even say I'm forcing myself to accept it. Because if I didn't, it would have driven me insane already. I tried to come up with an explanation to calm myself down first. How long is this phenomenon going to go for? If only this was the last time. Then that would be fine, but... it wasn't guaranteed that there wouldn't be another switch while I was sleeping, leading me to waking up at Sphere once again. And I had no idea whether the transfer would happen again after that. Since we had no clue why this phenomenon was happening in the first place after the next transfer, it was possible that they might just stop happening altogether. If that's the case, then I would end up who knows where in some stranger's body for the rest of my life. If the other person was a girl, it wouldn't be so bad, but it had to be a boy. As if I'm androgynous. Good, just gonna go into the tips. Androgynous. From the Greek meaning on one person who possesses both sexes, an existence that is a combination of both male and female sex. Got it. Or maybe it could be called the gender identity disorder. Yeah, okay. This is gonna be a state in which a person's body is morphologically normal, but they feel that their physical sex is at odds with their gender, considering themselves to be actuality a member of the opposite sex. Okay, Tumblr, basically. If I was actually sick, I could accept that. But this isn't some sickness. Something's going on here. By the way, I'm not saying I hate those kind of people that think those kind of things. I'm just saying Tumblr is basically the place where it happens a lot. Something that I can't even imagine. How much time had passed as I thought about those things over and over again? I can hear the faint sound of the blizzard blowing outside, not seeming like it was going to subside anytime soon. As I rolled over in my bed, I sneaked a peek at Yomogi. He had told us he was going to take turns watching the fire, but he didn't seem to want to switch, and he simply sat in front of the red flame, staring contently. He had a somewhat serious look on his face. Was he not sleepy? Or was he just looking out for us? I couldn't seem to sleep either. I might as well switch shifts with him. And I was just about to tell him, "Hey." I heard a shuffling sound from the top bunk. Is Maizumi up too? Give me some tea. You want to sleep? What does it matter to you? Sighing, Yomogi stood up to boil some water. When Yomogi went to prepare the tea, Maizumi came down from her bed. I quickly closed my eyes. She took a quick glance over at me and Uni. Jeez, why am I pretending to sleep anyway? She can sleep that soundly, huh? Must be nice to be so carefree. You were just sleeping soundly yourself until a few minutes ago. I wanted to say that, but I stopped myself. Hurry up and go to sleep. You're not sleeping? Don't tell anyone about this. The truth is, I'm just waiting patiently for my chances to pay her a little midnight visit. What? Yomogi's really that kind of man? My body shook with fear in my bed. Scumbag. Her voice is cold. Article 174 of the criminal law. A person who commits an indecent act in public shall be punished by imprisonment with work for not more than 6 months. A fine of not more than 300,000 yen, misdemeanor imprisonment without work, or a petty fine that can't stand dirty jokes. Oh, it's just a joke. Well, it scared me. It's really too bad. But don't worry, I wouldn't go after you even by mistake. Hurry up and make some tea. Just kidding. Don't ever talk again. Complaining under his breath, Yomogi went downstairs. God damn it, I'm not sure if he's mean or not. Like, it's not funny that he made that kind of joke, but I don't know. Sighing a little, Maizumi sat down in front of the stove. Pretending to be asleep, I shook my head slightly. Maizumi was the kind of person I couldn't get along with, so I kept trying my best to avoid her. She herself probably hated me too. I didn't know if it was bad for things to develop like this. Just like Yomogi had said, we're in a situation where everyone must help each other out, I think that's what it said, yeah. If I told her how I felt about her, then things between us may get to an unsalvageable point. But I just can't get along with her. Why? I could just barely hear her low, quiet voice. Even though it's already been so long. This isn't like me at all. Is she talking to herself? Her voice is no longer as sharp as it was before. For some reason, it almost sounded lonely. Intrigued, I opened my eyes to take a peek. Curled up in a bowl in front of the stove, Maizumi stared fixedly at something she was holding in my hands. A photo? My eyes looked even closer. Oh, in the photo was Maizumi. A younger Maizumi. What's the bet Satoru took the picture? Like a carefree young girl, she looked at the camera with a truly blissful smile on her face. An expression so calm and peaceful it was as if only the person she trusted completely was looking at her. The Maizumi in the photo shone so brightly. I wonder what thoughts were running through her head as she gazed at the photo. Satoru. My heart skipped a beat when I heard those quiet words. Just now I was certain as heard Maizumi whisper Satoru. Just that thought she knows Yukidoh Satoru. For some reason I couldn't do it. I wanted to push her harder to get the truth, but for some reason I couldn't do it. Perhaps I just felt too guilty digging into her past like this. Plus, even if I ask, I probably still won't get an answer from her. I gently closed my eyes. Maizumi was also fighting. She acts like she's tough, but in reality, she too is troubled and anxious. I'm not the only one suffering. I held Uni's body tightly in my arms, so that I wouldn't forget this warmth if something were to happen to us, so that I could remember that I was not alone. If nothing else, just being here right now is enough for me. January 12th, the second day. Wait, what? What? But it was only at 90%, and then... How do I get the other percent? The other 10%? Is it because of other choices? I feel like that's what it is. It means I've only explored that scene that much, and that I just didn't do all the other choices, and that's why I didn't get the full percent. That's interesting. And the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the deep, deep cave. On the other side, on the other side of the other side of the grim, grim darkness. Beyond, beyond, beyond the deep abyss. It felt as if I was falling anywhere and everywhere. The sense of loss. No, that's not right. Nothing had been lost. There was nothing to begin with. Not a thing. There wasn't a single thing here. Emptiness. Pure emptiness. There was nothing else other than this pure emptiness. But if indeed there was nothing here whatsoever, then what about me, the person experiencing this emptiness? Who is this existence known as I? This emptiness is like zero. Does zero really exist? If it really exists, then what is this zero? It's a Kane. It's a Kane! Confirmed! If it doesn't exist, then what is one? Then when does one actually become one? And like that, from the interval between a 0 and a 1, I was forcibly ripped out.